Hey, hello. It is Tammy with Cheers to Creativity, and I'm here for our live on Thursday evening. Just going to see real quick if we can see us popping up on the Essential Stencil page. There it says we're live, and voila, there we are. Hey, I am solo this evening, so I will be manning the camera and doing all those things. But no, I'll go back afterwards and check any comments. Love when you join us here live and when you join us on the replay as well. I'm one of your ambassadors. You can catch me here every Thursday evening to show you something fun. And tonight we get to show you part of the October stencil of the month as well. When you pop on, please say hello. I just saw Angela and Natalie say hello. Essential Stencil will be giving away 3 $20 gift cards at the end of our live. And the way they pick that up is by you doing things like Tracy just did, by sprinkling, commenting throughout the live, and just being here with us, okay? So let me set down my iPad. I'm going to talk to you real quick about Stencil of the Month. There are 2 different ways you can get our Stencil of the Month. You can get the premium set and the basic set. I'm going to be working with the premium set tonight. Either way, you will get 3 exclusive stencils. They'll come to your door every month, and they're not stencils that anyone else can buy. They just come through Stencil of the Month Club. So this is October's, and it is a really fun one. It's called Rooted in Love, and this is the large tree that is part of the premium set. I'm going to have to slip this out of there so I can use the backing. Then the second page, we have Always Kiss Me Goodnight. We have this heart. Home is where the heart is. My heart is happy here. That's the second page. The third, I'm going to drop this. It's the third page that you're going to get in the premium set. First is going to give you this alphabet so you can personalize it. And you'll also have the tire swing and the regular swing. So the idea here is you can take that tree and you can have a swing hanging from it, the tire swing hanging from it, or maybe you could use the heart within the tree, and it could be TME or TM plus AM, and maybe the date that you engrave that on the tree. So that is the premium set. The bonus, the add-on this month, you can always choose the add-on or not. It says, when you love what you have everything you need. And it's a really beautiful saying. And I also love all the lovely silhouettes that we have with this. You've got butterflies, a couple different squirrels, a little hedgehog, a couple owls. And those you could use on so many different things. It really is a pretty one. All right, so I was recently in Arizona. I was up in Flagstaff last Saturday through Tuesday, and we went to the Lowell, I hope I'm saying that right, Lowell Observatory, and it was just absolutely stunning up there. And so it's actually my inspiration. It was my inspiration for a project for my membership, but it also really resonated with me tonight with a couple of those things. I like the premium, the one that's in the premium that just says, Always Kiss Me Goodnight. And I also like the add-on, When You Love What You have everything you need. Either one would work with what I'm going to be doing, which is, let me move this out of the way. I realized I had a moon stencil after I've been doing my moon by myself. I just have I think this is a 9x12. Pretty sure it's a 9x12 canvas board. This one actually has an easel on the back. Otherwise, I just set them in easels. And we're going to start by just base coating this. I need to pivot the camera a bit so you can see what I'm doing. Ignore the absolutely messy studio. Somehow there were no elves that came to clean it when I was gone. I was rather sad and disappointed. Hello, Cindy. So nice to see everybody tonight. Okay, so I think you guys can see that pretty well. So this is just my canvas board. I'm just going to base coat this a dark color. It could be black. However, I kind of like a dark blue instead. If you, a dark blue or even a Payne's gray. A Payne's gray is really not actually a gray. It's really more of a really dark blue. I like a deep midnight blue too, but it's a little dusty for my likings. for this project. So I think I'm going to use this Payne's Gray. I'm going to shake this up. And I'm just going to squirt this on here. I could use this brush. This brush that I used earlier, I think that might be a little too wet. I'm just going to use a chip brush. This is not going to be anything fancy at all. We are just going to get a good base coat on here. Probably going to have to give it 2 quick coats, so we'll give it this coat first. I'm going to want to catch my edges, so I may as well get messy now. I'm just going to catch this edge, catch that edge, catch this edge. It wouldn't be me if I didn't get messy while I was doing projects, but that's okay. See? That's why we have paper towels and wet wipes. Okay. So we give this first coat, we're going to give this a quick dry, and we'll give it a quick second coat, and then we're going to get started with the fun part. Take this aside, grab up my blow dryer. Thank you, Jody, for sprinkling. We love when you guys share this out there with other people. It lets other people know that we're working on fun stuff for our Essential Stencil. If you are new to Stencil of the Month, you can use our code CHEERS and save on your first month, whether you order the basic set, which you can get for free, does not include shipping, or get 50% off the premium set. This paint color is called Payne's Gray. It is a really, really deep blue. It really isn't gray at all. But I may have had my brush a little wet, so we're probably going to have to give it a second coat, which is okay. Definitely had too much water in my brush, but that's okay. We'll get this, give it a quick dry, and then we will blot our brush. The color is Payne's Gray. I'm using Decor, but you could certainly use Payne's Gray and any other brand as well. It's going to be the same basic color. Let's see how we do this. Prussian blue would be another beautiful dark night option. So when I was up at the observatory, I was just in awe of how many stars you could see. We were in Flagstaff, or outside of Flagstaff, and Flagstaff is a dark city, so they are limited on how much we'll call it light pollution they can produce, which gives you the opportunity to see such beautiful, beautiful skies. It was very pretty. We looked through the telescopes at a number of things. It was really kind of fun to see the stars and a couple of planets very close up with the help of the telescope. Okay, so this is wet, right? It's meant to be right now. I'm going to grab not white, but a really, really pale gray. It's called Gray Sky. And first thing I'm going to do is I want to be able to see some distant stars. So I'm going to put just a tiny bit of this out. Maybe. Really, I am. Good. Just need a touch. And I'm actually going to use a brush that I can spatter with. You can even use a stencil brush for this, but I usually have a really stiff brush around here. Let's see if I have one hanging out. I probably used it and have not brought it back down yet. Not gonna work. This is a pretty stiff little brush. So I'm just gonna take, this is plain water, I'm just gonna make this a little thin, okay? And I'm gonna tap it off on my paper towel, and I'm just gonna flick a little bit of this in my sky. And because my paint is wet, those little dots are probably gonna dissipate a little bit. I've just got these little spatters, okay? I'm going to get this and dry this real quick. Hello from Indiana, says Barbara. So nice of you to join me tonight. Looks like a galaxy. Thanks. I think it kind of does too. Now, when I did this for my membership, I actually had a moon in mind, and I haven't decided if I'm going to put a moon on there or not, but I do know I want some soft little stars, and I'm going to use stars from the Wicked Before Coffee set. We're not going to do a witch or anything like that, but I like the shape of these stars, these nice little kind of stars like such. We've got some smaller ones on this one. So that's what I'm going to use for my stars. And I'm going to do them in a couple different ways. So do I want to put a moon on there or not? I haven't decided. I'm not even sure which one I'm going to use. I do love when you love what you have everything you need. But I do also like the other one. It says, Always Kiss Me Goodnight. Since we're in the night sky, I think we're going to go ahead with Always Kiss Me Goodnight. So I do think I'm going to add a moon. Okay, now when I did mine for my membership, I just painted the moon with a circle. I just realized, and I don't know if this is in stock or not, but we have the moons and cows and bats. And the cool thing about this, if you want to have the moon like it was when you saw it, so for me it would have been in this waning moment, but I think we'll just go ahead and make this a full moon. So I'm going to borrow this since I've got it, and I'm going to put it up in my sky. It's not going to be my main thing. We've got more to do with our background, but let's go ahead and put a little bit of color on here. It'll be a little harder to cover since I put the blue down, but that's okay. We might have to give it a couple coats. That's all right. So you can use a stencil brush. You can use a sponge, whether you use our regular stencil brushes or our mini stencil brushes. They both work exceptionally well. Let's go ahead and use this one for this. I'll just use one of the mini ones that I'm offloading. And I'm just going to go ahead and give it a quick coat because I know it's going to need another coat. Just because it's such a light color. I just used Baby Duck on that. I'm going to dry it. Managed to drop the blow dry already. I was a little wet with my brush, but I'm okay. I didn't bleed, which is good. Always check the back of your stencil that you don't have anything, so you're not going to smear anything. I'm going to put this right back down over where I just did this. Great. And we're just going to go ahead and give it another quick coat. Now the first one I swirled, this one I'm pouncing a little bit, just to give it a little more coverage quickly, and it's still probably going to benefit from one more coat. So I'm just going to hang on to it. Whoops, let's move that off the way. I'm going to hang on to it. We'll go ahead and give it a quick dry. And before I give it the next coat, I'm going to grab a little bit of a darker yellow. This happens to be true ochre. You could use salted caramel. Boy, if I could just get my paints out, I'd be in great shape. Hang on. We might have to pierce this, but that might be enough. That might be enough. Give it another quick coat. Offloading. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a little bit of white. I don't need to clean that brush out. I can wipe it off a little bit, pick up a little bit of white, still offloading it. And I'm kind of going to tap right around my edge. Right around that edge of that moon. I'm going to bring a little bit of that white in a little bit. Wipe it off on my paper towel. Pick up a little bit of that darker color I picked up, that true ochre. really have very little paint on, and I'm just barely going to tap little bits just to make this moon have a little bit of a crater look. Wipe that off. And I'm going to pick up just a tiny touch, I believe, yeah, of a gold too. So this happens to be Emperor's Gold, but you could do any gold you wanted. Just a tiny touch. Oh, thank you, Chrissy, for sharing and sprinkling. Just a little bit of a gold shimmer. Okay. So now that I have a fun moon, how's our moon looking? Our moon looks pretty good. Let's use some stars. And I have some different size stars. So let's go with, I want a couple of these. We'll do this one. I'm going to switch to a little smaller brush. And I thought I had grabbed some. I did. This is a metallic white. So this is going to be less bright. It'll fade into the background a little more. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of the metallic white first. And I'm offloading on a paper towel. So I have very little paint on my brush. Because we want some of these to look like they're more in the distance. And if they're softer, they'll look like they're more in the distance. So let's do one over here. Let's do one up here. And another one over here. And stars are everywhere, right? So put one down here too. Let's do one that's a little bigger here. I think these are even tinier. I did this one backwards, but I think it's okay. I think I can just flip that around. Let's do it here. And one up here. Now, those are my stars that are a little more distant. I can also have some stars that are just like little dots in the sky. And again, I can just use either the tip of a brush, or I can use something like a stylus, and I can have these little bit of dots. Some of them might even look like they're starting to be forming a pattern, or like our dipper, but we're not going to be that particular. We're just going to put a few in there. So I did all that with the lighter color, the white pearl metallic. And I'm going to do the same thing with straight white. I've already got that on my plate. We'll have some stronger dots that show up. And we'll have a couple stronger looking stars too. We actually have to put paint in there. Little stars here too. And we will use our little brush and add a couple brighter stars. I need to hit those dots. Let's make sure we don't smear those dots too much. No, the picture on the table is actually, I'll show you guys. Oops. Put this fell down. If I can, I will. It's a two-hand process because it came out of the frame. This is the project I did with my membership where we did flowers. We're not going to do flowers. We're going to work on some words. This was the one I did with my membership earlier this week. But it certainly was an inspiration for tonight as well. So now I'm going to pick up the straight white and we're going to do a couple brighter stars. And they do show more brightly where I'm seeing them, and then probably where you are seeing them. I'll lift this up as soon as we get a couple more on here. Big one here. You can do these little dots next to it. And we'll do a little one here. When you do different depths of color, or some of them are more faded and some of them are brighter, they look like they are further in the distance than some of them. So that is why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I'm going to pull this up just so you can get the idea. So some of them look like they're more in the background, and some of them are a little stronger. We certainly could have had flowers down below too, but that's not what we're doing tonight. So I think I'll do this one. Oh. I dropped the stencil. It's on the floor, and then of course I put my chair on it, because that's what I do. So I think I'm always going to do this. I think we'll do the Always Kiss Me Goodnight. So I'm going to line it up with the edge of my canvas board so that I know it's straight on the edge there. And I think this is going to be good. I think we're just going to do this in the white paint. And here we go. Offloading it. We're going to come in here. Give it a little more paint. I think I should probably switch to a larger brush. It would go a lot faster. Just means another brush to wash. It's okay. And I need a little more paint. Now the other thing I can do in the sky, we'll do it as soon as we get these lettering on here, we can add some bits of either glitter or even add some rhinestones like we have from, oh my gracious, my words escape me tonight. Totally dazzled. I apologize. I swear I'm still jet lagged. My little dotting tool, yes, it can be called a stylus, a dotting tool. You could also make those little dots just with the tip of a liner brush or a skinny brush. Give this a quick little peek. I'm sure we need a second coat. Yeah, we do. I double check that I don't have too much on my brush before I start applying it to the open areas. Always Kiss Me Goodnight. So you certainly could still add some flowers down below if you wanted to, or even just something as simple as pulling a little bit of grasses down below. But I kind of like the words to stand out. Now, if you want to add some glittery aspects to it, this is not the one I usually like. This is the one I like. I like the DecoArt Twinkles. And again, I can stencil them on, or I can simply pick up with this little tool and add some little dots that are going to be a little more sparkly. To give it a little more dimension. Or you could even, these are ones that went flying after a project I did one night, but you could find a couple of the rhinestones, if I can get to any of these, and you could have a couple rhinestones on there too. I could really add to it. Let's see if we can get to a couple of them. I have all sorts of sizes because I was doing a project with different ones, and I would actually varnish this piece first before I applied them to the piece. But it will give you an idea of how fun that could be if you added a little bit of the rhinestones. Aren't those fun? Like I said, I would actually add those after I varnish the piece. But we can set this aside for right now. And back in. So that's one project we could do with our stencil of the month. Thank you for the hearts. All right. I usually have projects that are already base coated, and I did have a canvas that was already base coated, and I really love this as a fall project. So this is a 12 by 16 canvas that is just painted black. There's nothing special about it. It is just painted black. Many times I buy them painted black. This one just happened to be one that I painted black. I'm using the Fruits of the Spirit stencil here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to offset it a little bit. You can see it is a 12 by 16 because that's the size of our projects. I want to add a sunflower to this. So I'm going to find out which sunflower I'm going to use first. So then I can know where I'm going to position my words at. Excuse me, I need to reach another sunflower because I'm not sure that's the one I wanted to use. What I want to use? Is that it? I'm not sure if that's one's big enough or not. Let's see. I think it. Oh, decisions, right? I think this is the one I wanted. I believe this is the one I want. Okay, so I'm going to grab the one I want first. Ready? Yeah, I just want this one. I just need to open this up. Sorry. It's this one, but I wanted the one that's facing the other way. And I just got a new set of sunflowers, so we can do whatever one we want. And I think this is the one. Could use any of them actually, but I think this one's going to work just well. Yeah, I think that'll work really well. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this is I'm just pulling it off aside a little bit so I have a little more room to play with. Actually, I think it'll be fine just like such. And I'm going to be a good girl and actually tape it down. How convenient. I have a piece of tape right here. So I'm just going to tape it so I don't move it. And I've chosen a couple colors that are really just soft colors, soft fallish colors. I've got a lush green, and I had the true ochre out. And I'm going to kind of go back and forth with these colors. I'm going to put both of them out on my plate, knowing I don't need a lot of them. So this yellow, as I look at it, has some of the same colorings as the sunflower. I'll show you the sunflower here again. And this green I picked is very similar to the greens. And this is kind of like some of the shading colors of that sunflower. That's how I picked the colors that I wanted to use. So I'm going to start with the green. Let's grab a different brush. I can use this one. Picking the green up first. I'm offloading it. And I'm going to do Joy. This is just a stretched canvas. And do Peace. I think there was a little white shimmer in this, but that's okay. It would be pretty this way too. Wasn't quite the plan, but Kindness. This is one of my favorite stencils. I have used it so many times. And I've done it with many different flowers too. I've done it with lilies in the spring. I just used my regular DecoArt lamp black. There are pre-done black canvases, and even when they're pre-done, I still give them a quick coat of regular acrylic paint, because if I need to touch anything up, I then know that that paint color matches. Where when you buy them and they're pre-done, sometimes it's hard to match up that color exactly. Black is not just black, guys. There are many shades of black. This could also be just as beautiful done on a dark blue or dark green surface. I've also done this where my background is more of a watercolor look, you know, where it's lots of pretty lighter colors. It looks really nice for spring. I just want to peek to make sure that this color is showing up enough. And it is, it would be a good example to show you because I bled a little bit on my S, and we're going to be able to fix that because I know exactly what color I used, right? I know I used black. Now I'm picking up the golden color I had, which is called True Ochre. And I'm really making sure my brush is dry because I did bleed on one of those, and we're going to fix it, but I would rather not have to fix letters. I would rather just do it right the first time. So now I'm doing the yellow color, or golden color, on the other ones. Oh, so this could be a really fun thing for your Sunday school class too. So you could show them the fruits of the Spirit in a project. I actually have something very similar with hand-painted flowers in our club room. And it is one of my very favorite pieces. It stays out year-round, even though it has hand-painted sunflowers in it. Our sunflowers are beautiful this time of year. There are lots of different shades of them. They grow on the side of our garage. And it happens to be also where our trash cans are, but it's something very fun and something pretty. Every time I have to take the trash out, I get to smile at these pretty sunflowers. Now, this is a verse from Galatians. It is 5:22. A very classic verse and piece. I might need to do this a second coat because I was much more careful. Yep, those yellows could definitely be a little more. So we're just going to give it a second light coat so I can see it a little more. Before I add my transfer, I'm going to show you how I'm going to be able to fix my little boo-boo. There are no mistakes. There are only design changes, but if we can make that design look a little more perfect, why not? So we're going to add a transfer to this, and then we're also going to do a couple really quick little projects or fun little projects with some other transfers tonight. The Essential Stencil transfers allow us to do quick projects that really are quite impressive very, very easily. Taking a quick look. It's hard to see this E. All right. I think we're good. Now I'm going to show you. This is where I said I was a little overzealous with my paint. And I'd like that to be cleaned up. And because I know I used this color on this, I don't have to worry that my paints aren't going to match. So I'm just going to find myself a skinny little brush. Pick up a little black paint. And I can just come in here and I can clean this up. And nobody will ever know that I had too much paint on my brush. And I can take a quick peek and make sure I didn't have any other places that I kind of was a little heavy-handed. I did have a couple places. I'm usually pretty good about that. But you know what? Every once in a while. But as this dries, once that paint is dry, you are not going to be able to tell that I even touched that up. Okay. So I've got my words on here. Once that brush out, I actually think this E got a little zealous too. So we're just going to clean up that E too. Remember, there are no mistakes. There are design changes, but no mistakes. There's a subtle difference in those colors. And I'm going to grab my scissors and we're going to snip out the one I wanted. Which is this guy right here. I am on just a stretched canvas. So I'm going to peek and see if I have a piece of wood that I can sneak underneath my board here. I'm not sure. This is just a scrap piece of wood, nothing fancy, guys. And all I'm doing is putting it underneath here so when I go to put my transfer on, I have something hard and not as givey as this. I'm just merely going to put this up here, and we may be extending that stem a little bit. I know this paint is dry, but if I had any doubt, I would hit it with a blow dryer first, because when we're using our transfers, that is the most important thing, that we have our surface is dry. And I know I pulled that transfer tool right there. It is. Okay. So we are going to burnish this onto the canvas, but because I have that piece of wood underneath there, it's much easier than the give of a stretched canvas. Remember, I said I did pay attention to the green in the leaf when I picked my green for my letters. When we get ready to start pulling our transfer back, we're just going to do it nice and slow, just to make sure that we are catching every little tip of every petal. So I'm going to start up here, and if it kind of tugs at me, it tells me that I probably don't have it burnished in hard enough. So you just put that protective covering back down, and you rub it on a little more firmly. As you can see, that almost just lifted off on itself. So I'm going to slowly peel it back. Got a little bit of a catch right there, so we're going to lay it back down. Now, you sometimes see a little bit of a shadowing here. That will go completely away when you put a coat of varnish on it. And I will make sure I show that to you afterwards. Now, I can leave it just like that. I think I'd like to extend this stem down just a bit. You can see I just kind of drew that with some water. I'm going to go more like that. Okay. And because this green is really close, I can test it first. I can kind of go, is that pretty close? Yeah, you can barely tell any difference. So I'm picking up this skinny little brush, and I'm just going to extend this down a little further. Start up on the transfer itself, just so it gets a little longer. You would not have to do that. That is just my choice. With a little bit of the yellow with it too. We even have a tiny bit that kind of branches off. And so there is the fruits of the spirit with just the simple little sunflower. Okay. All right, so I'm going to set that one aside as well. What is up next? We don't need this anymore. Our transfers are so cute. There's so many things we can do with them. So I'm going to use, next? We're going to use this one. We're going to use the Autumn Market on the truck. Now, I love when I can find a piece. This is a piece that I bought from, I believe, Michael's, and it came just like this. I've not done anything to it. I've not added any color to it. It's a framed piece, and this whole thing is most likely not going to fit in there, but we're going to see what is going to fit in there. Let me take this here, put this here. We'll add our brushes we used to some water. I'm going to start by just cutting around the truck. I might be able to use the words, but I might need to move them around a little bit. So I'm just going to cut as close around the truck as I feel like I need to. So let's snuggle this in. Gets down pretty far. I might even pull just make it a little closer yet. Okay. I won't need that anymore. We will peel this off. The camera's behind my shoulder tonight, so I can kind of watch what I'm doing. And so I'm able to turn it off in the end. Okay, so I'm going to lay this down. Oops. I'm going to lay it with my hands first. We're going to burnish it in. Oops. And just like the one I did before, I'm going to go both directions first. I'm going to go make sure I'm getting it all in there. And then I will slowly start to peel this off. And we'll see where we might need to burnish it a little more. This piece of wood was from Michael's. I believe it's just kind of over by their, had the wood section where they have some of the rounds and some of their whiteboards. It already was framed. It's kind of a whitewashed board. It was either there or Hobby Lobby. Both of them have wood type things like this. And I would say both of them change fairly often. Dropped part of it. And I'm just doing it slowly because it is a big transfer and we think we've burnished it in there, but sometimes we really haven't even begun to do it. That's doing pretty well. And especially when you've got little things like these little bits of weed up here or these points on the, what are those? Those are leaves. I can talk. I swear I'm not supposed to go away because I come back and it takes me forever to get back in the groove. Came back and we had our son's annual meeting today. And there wasn't that much I had to prepare for, but I still felt like I was good. Not quite ready. It was our very first trip away together since Ryan has been residential. It only took us a year. So I just had to be away from my pups. But we had the camera set up so we could watch them and talk to them too. Yep, I'm that crazy dog lady who checks on my puppies even though they have a dog sitter while I'm gone. All right. A little bit here. I feel like I'm missing right at the very bottom. Looking good. Look at this pretty mums. We picked up our corn stalks today that go by our front door and by our post, and our broom corn that goes by our mailbox. We try to grow broom corn, and for some reason our landscapers think it's weeds when it's first coming up, and they very kindly take care of the weeds for us. Getting to be that season. I don't know if I'm going to add the words or not. I kind of like it just with the truck. I'll see if they would work on there, but if they don't, I'm not going to be really sad, I don't think. I think I like just the truck just fine. Just making sure I get all the truck, all this little grass down below. And it's pretty grounded, but I might need to ground it a little more. If you know me at all, things have to be grounded. All right. So I've got this gorgeous truck. Some hay underneath here. I'm going to grab the words, but I really think I like it just like that. And I do. I think I like it just like that. I'm going to grab just a tiny bit of brown paint using the brush that I used earlier. Oops, a little bit of paint. And just dry brush this just to make sure everybody knows we are in the ground. And I'm quite pleased with that, just like that. I don't think we need any additional words on this one tonight. What do you think? That's okay? I'm not even sure I could find the words again. They seem to have flown away, guys. It's not meant to be. Here it is, auto marker. Nope. I think I'm going to leave it just like that. Okay? So we've done one of our a couple transfer projects. Do I know the size of this? We'll find out. It is measuring 16, so it's going to be 12 by 16. It's 12 by 16 framed. 12 by 16 frame. So it's actually the same size as this. This is a 12 by 16 as well. Okay? So what do we have? We've got just a few more minutes. So I have a couple of very small projects to show you. Now, we're going to start with this little cowbell. Okay? This was from the No Longer Just Dollar Tree. Anytime I'm doing anything on metal or glass, I've already wiped this down with rubbing alcohol, just normal rubbing alcohol, nothing fancy. And I'm going to use a couple little transfers from the Fall Forest Gnomes. This is from Fall Forest Gnomes. There are so many little gnomes in this. You can do so many different things, but we're not going to use gnomes. We're going to use these little critters instead. I'm going to put this little squirrel down here. We're going to burnish that onto the metal. It's not on there yet. A little more give to it than I thought it was going to. First, I'll turn this around and get that on there. There we go. There's our little squirrel. I'm not done with him. Then I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to start with this little mushroom. And then we're going to put the little hedgehog next to him. Again, I've just wiped this down with rubbing alcohol. This might be easier to do with my fingernail than it is with the little tool. So there's the little mushroom. I'm going to snip this off, this little hedgehog. And with the hedgehog done, just overlap it just a tiny touch. And then I'm going to grab a little paintbrush and we're going to make sure there's a ground underneath my little squirrel and my little hedgehog. I'm throwing things. I'm just going to grab a little bit of that brown paint I had and make sure we are in the ground. And same with our little squirrel who's just sitting on the ground. And we might even grab a tiny bit of that green paint and a skinny little brush. And we'll just pull little bits of grass up. Dum, 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 dum. A little bit of grass. So super simple little project. Adding tiny bits of details really does just make your piece stand out. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, where are we at? We've got 10 more minutes. Oh my goodness. So let's switch gears just a touch and do something a little more Halloween-y. Cute little bucket that I picked up at the Goodwill store. Lesson learned. We're going to get rid of that tag recently. Yeah. And again, I've wiped this down with rubbing alcohol, and I think this one is going to be perfect for this little bucket that would look so cute on your desk with some treats in it. Now this is curved, so I do like to first, before I even pull this off, just kind of give it a little bit of a curve. Sometimes when you're working on a curved surface, it is helpful to trim or give a couple little slits so it likes to lay down a little flatter. And then I just take and work a little bit at a time. We go this way, and that way. Let's catch down here too. I'm just snipping a little bit because it'll help it lay down as I go around the curve. Okay, so I'll start here. I'm rubbing it here. I might lose a couple leaves up there, but it's okay. Am I catching it here? Let's make sure we get all this on here first. Those ridges, you just gotta have to work with them. If I had a desk, I have a desk. If I had to go somewhere and have a desk, I would want something cute on it. Really getting into those little ridges there. Pulling it off. See, I lost a little bit right at the top, but that is okay. Catching the edge here and here. Go ahead and get those little flowers there. Quick smooth over. And voila. And since we already know we have that little bit of a brown sitting here, why not take just a tiny bit of brown and just make sure he is in the ground, sitting on the ground. And there you've got this cute little bucket. I have one more little gnome project, but I think we're going to do this one instead. This is a turntable that had some printing on it, okay? And I sanded it off. You can still see part of it, but I think the transfer I want to use is going to cover most of it, and if not, I can go ahead and fill in some sky area. So I'm merely going to do the turkey. I'm not going to do the words. I'm going to have to cut around part of the bottom. We're going to get this on here. Do I want to leave some of the words? I might leave free-range turkeys. Let's come down here like this. Since we're going to use the free-range turkeys, I'm just going to go around this little tiny bit there. And I think I need to trim right there too. Okay. I am pretty sure this is going to work. Yep. So here we go. It does kind of have a little bit of I'm trying to line up the words on these lines a little bit. Okay. And again, we are going to find our tool. I have it moved, but yet somehow I've managed to misplace it. But never fear. We'll find it. And we're going to burnish it in. Oops. I just moved it. That may not be good. Let's see what we can do here. We can fix this up. Get our turkeys on here. And I've created a little bit of a bubble, but we're going to see if we can smooth this out a little bit at a time. There we go. Okay. edges on here. The bird. Starting. Now we're going to have winners here in just a minute or two. I hope I can find them on my iPad tonight because I don't have hubby to come down and tell me who they are. But we're going to work it out. There we go. Our turkeys are coming off. Make sure I get the letters on here as well. This is a turntable, so it's wanting to turn on me a bit, which was not ideal. Should put all my letters down. Just got this little bit of an edge of my pumpkin that isn't sure it wants to release yet, but we're going to make it release. So guys, if you happen to be a winner this evening, make sure you email support@essentialstencil.com. That is how they'll be able to get your $20 gift card to you. If you happen to have been new here tonight, we're so glad you're here. You will love the Essential Stencil community. And I invite you to follow me over on our page, which is Cheers to Creativity. You can catch me most every Tuesday doing Tuesday tips, techniques, and teachings. This Tuesday? No, because I was in Arizona. But most of the time, I'm going to try to get this little bit of this corn stalk here. We'll get the rest of this off. Such a pretty bird. He's safe with me. I'm a vegetarian. So. Oops, I want to make sure I get every part of those letters in. Oh, people are anxious for the Christmas stuff to be coming. Well, it'll be here before you know it. Let's try to just enjoy the fall season a little bit. You know there'll be good stuff coming your way for Christmas as well. So we did a couple of projects tonight that were pretty simple because we just are using the transfers. But the idea was to show you how easy it is to transform something as simple as a bucket to look more impressive. Or how about a bell? Like, who doesn't need a little more cowbell, right? I am having a little trouble with it, but I think it's because when I laid it down, I did not smooth it down like I normally do first. And so we had a little bit of an air bubble in there, but we're working it out. We're going to be good. It's looking quite nice. Okay. And I'd rather take it slow and put it back down if there's a spot I isn't adhering, and then rip it off and not have the design. You feel it's a little tugging at you, you just lay it back down and you give it a little more of that burnishing, and you end up with a gorgeous project because these transfers are beautiful. Now, I do see a little bit around here, so I might want to I love the cowbell. It wasn't that long ago that I got it, so hopefully they still have them. I can't believe I only bought one of them. Hey, my better half has arrived home.
Not a good idea to post comments while I'm driving.
Was he posting comments to you girls?
And then don't forget to use your code CHEERS and accidentally hit 30% instead of 10%.
10%, yes. If you use my code, it's 10%. Don't believe things you see. All right. Well, I've just about got this off. We're going to look for some winners, It just turned 8 o'clock. We're pretty darn close to being done. But we got to show you a project using, here's our free-range turkeys. I may want to come back and just add a little bit of shadowing around him to help set him in, which won't be hard to do. I've just got a damp brush. Again, I'm picking up a little bit of that brown paint, and I'm just going to pull from the turkey outward, and it'll just help set him in a little bit more. Shadow around turkey. And I'll just help set him in a little more all the way around. We need a little bigger brush is what I think we need. I do. Picking up a little thin paint, and I'm just adding a little bit around him. Just pulling a little bit of that color. Don't know until you try it, right? It's a little bit of color just pulling around just to help set him in, help camouflage anything that I didn't get off completely when I was sanding off. And it'll look good. Plus, that way we know he's grounded, right? Go underneath my letters a little bit. There, I think he's good. All right, so we have the free-range turkey. We did our sweet little pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern on the little we have the little cowbell with the hedgehog on one side and squirrel on the other. How about an autumn truck? Down. The fruits of the spirit with the sunflower. And I think my favorite for tonight was the Always Kiss Me Goodnight from the stencil of the month. And we just did a fun little sky, added some stars, and you might even want to add a few little gems from Totally Dazzled. Okay, let me see what I can do about pushing back. Hopefully not being too close in your face. And, wow. Sorry. Let's see if I can find some winners, okay? Let me see if I can find some winners. Hey, this one-man camera show is hard to do these days. Oh, thank you, Erin. She said all the projects were awesome. So I really appreciate that. Okay. So let me see if we can find winners. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I appreciate you. I appreciate getting to spend some time with you every week and do some fun projects. And I love going back and reading your comments after I clean my stencils and my brushes. All right. Bonnie Solis, Kathleen Halstead, Alice Grimsley. Congratulations, ladies. You are tonight's winners on the Essential Stencil page. All you need to do is email support@essentialstencil.com to get a $20 Essential Stencil gift card. Thank you so very much. Look forward to seeing you again next week, and I hope you'll take the time to follow us over on Cheers to Creativity. You have a great rest of your week, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Cheers. Nice.